Hi, I'm Tyler Grant for JamPlay.com. I'm so excited to share this lesson with you. We're going to be exploring the C major scale and applying that to a couple of basic melodies, including that example that I just performed, the Red River Valley. That is a traditional American song, and actually I think comes from Canada. It's a traditional North American song. And I'm just applying some of this 50s style Telecaster to that song. So let's break it down and begin with a C major scale. How many of you all know a C major scale? I'm sure many of you do. I'm not sure if you've ever looked at it this close. And this is what I enjoy doing with the C major scale. I enjoy using it to find melodies and licks and musical figures by ear. It is the basis, the foundation for everything that I'm hearing and everything that I'm playing in this style. So here's what we're going to do. Let's start by strumming a C chord, just to get that sound in your ears. And I'm hearing the chord. I'm even hearing 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. Those are our chord notes. Those are the notes that make up that chord. And I'll explain. When we play the C major scale, this is your first written example, by the way, if you're looking at the page. I'm going to play. Let's just play this together, note by note, and I'll explain what I mean with the numbers, okay? So here's your low C note. That's your tonic, the 3rd fret of the A string. Then you got the open D. Then you got your 2nd fret of the D. Then your 3rd fret. Then the open G. 2nd fret of the G string. Open B. And the 1st fret. C. That's your entire C major scale. It's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. However, we don't use those solfege syllables as commonly anymore. These days in music school, they teach you the numbers. Instead of singing do, re, mi, we sing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Therefore, those chord notes of a C chord are the 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. That's what I'm doing when I sing those numbers. I'm singing the degrees of the scale. Now, this study really helps you to understand how melodies work. It helps you to play music by ear by always having a reference to the tonic note, being this C in this case, since we're in the key of C major. So I would encourage you to explore the C major scale really, really in depth and try to figure out a bunch of melodies. Try to find the melodies to Oh Susanna, Amazing Grace, all these old songs. Any song that is in a major key, you can figure it out in the key of C. So that first example goes up the scale to where we landed on the high note, and now we'll descend from there. So we're playing our first finger on the 1st fret of the B string. That's the tonic note in its higher octave. We can play that note in 2 different octaves in this position. So there it is, the high C. And then we'll play the open B. That's the 7. And then the 2nd fret of the A string, that's the 6th note of the scale. Then the open G, that's the 5th note of the scale. And then the 3rd fret F, that's the 4th note of the scale. And then the 2nd fret D is the 3rd note of the scale. Open D is the 2, and C is the 1. So I don't want to confuse you by saying fret numbers and scale degrees at the same time. There's going to be a little bit of that crossing over. But ultimately, I want you to be able to play this scale and hear these notes. 1. Let's do this together and maybe sing the notes with me. Real slow. 1, 2, 3. descending. 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now you can find all these melodies that way. All the old Stephen Foster songs. When the Saints Go Marching In, there's tons of songs in the public domain, and that's what we're using for this lesson series. We're only using public domain songs and tunes because of copyright issues. So, to play the entire position of the C major scale, realize we're confined in that exercise we just played. We're confined from the low C to the high C. We're only playing the notes within that octave. However, you got higher notes, you got lower notes that you can reach in open position. And here's my trick for practicing them and hearing it all in the same context. This will be the second system of the written materials, and it's labeled entire position. So this is an exercise where we can play all the low notes, all the high notes, and still hear how they apply to the tonic note C. And we always start by strumming a C chord, so let's do that. Play the C chord. And you hear that tonic note in your head. That's your C. You want to really focus on that. Maybe even sing a 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. To get yourself grounded in that sound. Because ultimately, as guitarists, we want to be able to play what we're hearing. It's nice to have written notation and tablature. However, ultimately, we want to be able to figure these things out by ear. And this is the tool that's going to help you with that. So, after we've strummed the chord, the next measure has us starting on the lowest note we can possibly play in C major. In this case, it's the low E, open. That is an E note. It's from the scale, right? The scale went. It's the third note of the scale. But now we're playing it an octave lower. So we're going to start there, and I'll just walk you through each note for note, and we'll discuss the frets here first. So you got the open E, first fret, third fret, open A, second fret, third fret, and that's your tonic. Every time you get to the tonic note, you stop and rest, contemplate on where you've been, and then play the tonic note again as you move on. So there it is, C, and then the open D string, second fret, third fret, open G, second fret, open B, first fret, and there's your next tonic. Now we'll continue to the higher notes, so you play the tonic again, and then you play the third fret of the D string, we're ascending, to the open E, that's the next note, and then first fret F is the next note, and then the third fret G, that's the highest note we got, so we're going to turn right back around to the first fret F, open E, third fret D, first fret C. So when you reach the end of your position and you can't get to the tonic, you just turn right back around until you land on that tonic again. Then we'll descend from there. That's your C note and the open B, second fret of the G string, open G, third fret of the D, second fret of the D, open D, and then your C note, third fret of the A string. And then we'll cover those low notes one more time. There's your C to the second fret, B to the open A, to the third fret G, first fret F, open E, and what do? We didn't get the tonic, so we're going to go right back up to the F, the G, the A, the B, and the C. So that is the entire position for the key of C major, and the useful thing about that is that if you know that this is 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, for instance, of the scale, then you know it's the same up here. And if you have a melody that goes 3, 4, 5, it's there, and you know it's also here, 3, 4, 5, and it's also down here. So now you don't just see this mass of notes going up and down, you understand it, how it's based on the scale, so you can actually use it in the context of a musical piece, a tune or a song. So I'm going to play through that entire position now. Go ahead and join me. We'll play this in rhythm, and I'm going to sing the scale degrees. So don't confuse this with the fret numbers, okay? We're going to sing the scale degrees like this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Okay? And I'll do this in the same rhythm as it's written, where there's a brief pause every time we land on the C, the tonic. Okay? So here's this exact example of the entire position. So we'll play the C chord first. And I'll count you in with eighth notes. Ready, and go, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And you end with the chord. Now again, this is not a technique exercise. This is not meant to get you going fast up and down the scale. You should go really, really slow and memorize these intervals. Memorize the scale degrees. Know that that's 5, and that's 1, and that's 2, and that's 3. Because these are going to be the same notes as the melodies we're hearing. So for instance, if I strummed a C chord and I sang Red River Valley, which is our melodic example here coming up, I'd sing like this. Come and sit by my side if you love me. That's the low octave. And the high octave it would be, come and sit by my side if you love me. Either way, what I'm playing is 5, 1, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. And if I know my C major scale, and I know where 5 is, and I know where 1 is, and I know where 3 is, then I can just play that melody by ear, having never played it before. If you understand your C scale really, really well, you can do this. If you hear a little melody, you'll just know exactly where those notes are intuitively. And it takes practicing this scale position a lot in order to gain that skill.